I'm just making sure that it looks good. I'm just
Rashi brings down the concept of a matnas thing. In other words, they don't mourn because it's kubze, they mourn because they're asking a favor from their benefit. Okay. Makes sense? People think it's an Ian of another. Carrots, they don't feel the very gold, so therefore they don't do. They may be right to. How can I say anything? Somehow it's felt that this. Somebody that's a tzaddik realizes God owes me nothing. What do you mean he owes me nothing? He gave me mitzvahs. He wants to give me schar. Give me schar. He don't want to give me schar. He doesn't have to give me schar. I can't say to Reuven shouldn't give me a mitzvah. You owe me something. You owe me nothing. Right? He made me. He created me. He did whatever he did. That doesn't put any chiyuvim on him to pay me anything. The Reuven shouldn't, though, on the other hand, wants to do a chesed, wants to pay us. Fine. I'm willing to be mekabel. In fact, so much stuff to be willing to be mekabel that the Shibah held, if the guy says, I want to do the mitzvah not to get stuff, it's a tight on. Because God wants to give you and you don't want to take. That's it. You ever see you send a baton to somebody and he sends it back in the mail, what do you feel like? Okay, so obviously, when she wants to give you my baton, so you take it. It was like in our cup, so of course you're interested in taking it. That's not the issue. But you don't owe me anything. So it's partial as it's really, it's just an attitude that we have to understand that God owes me nothing. We find even Moshe Rabbeinu asked B'sus Abbas, so the Reuven gave him B'sus Atzmo. On the other hand, Chesfio wanted B'sus Atzmo, he gave him B'sus Abbas. In other words, I don't owe anything. It doesn't tell you anything. But you have to understand it. I don't owe you anything. Now it says here a very interesting thing. 515 times. I prayed 515 times. So it seems to be a limit. Right? We'll see what the limit is in a minute. Right? And we pray every day, a lot more, 3 times a day. Make 515 times, it doesn't take too long. It's not even a half a year. It's about a year. About a year. Okay, right? And so what's the hell of us? When I daven every day, 3 times a day, I'm davening my needs now. I'm not davening for the same thing. It's the same tefillah. I always need panoseh. I always need food. I always need. I need seichel. I always need whatever I'm asking for. I always need. But I'm asking for it now. I'm not asking for it. I'd like to have it. A future thing. We're not talking about that. Talking about shidduchim, we'll have to talk about that. I think I was at an Indian. Don't ask more than 515. Right? The Taish, I think, will become then that Yitzchak is the shkid, the Peyauel is more than that. I don't know for sure, but I would assume so. It was 20 years they were married before they had children. I would assume they did more than 515 times. So why did he talk to stop over there? if you think about it, it could be that over there he promised them to have children. Of course, he said, if you promise that Yitzchak is going to have children, he's going to be Mishal Shelos of Kol Yisrael. Okay, the question then is when? Okay, for what I can keep money, become a pain in the neck maybe, but if the Benjamin can't say I'm not giving it because you're not running too much. And Chas v'Chalila, the Benjamin doesn't do that. The Gemara says the reason he didn't give after 5:15, if he dispelled more times, it will come out that I'm an arsah. That I'm doing the wrong thing by not giving you. He said, please, this is an important lesson. It's an Indian, like we have it all the time by Swedish and Stapet Bible. Okay, I don't know how you guys have in camp or how you yeshiva, but we get a package once a year. Once is mine, okay, once is mine, right? And then the package maybe will be 100 cookies, right? Which means that my mother's measurement probably was 1 cookie a day. What is one? 100 days, right? It's only 3 months. Every 3 months I will live. It's not even a whole month, right? But all the friends come over. They're gonna have one. Can I have one? Can I have one? And at the end of the day, you're lucky if you got one for yourself. That is gezel. It's a tough word I just said. That is gezel. The Rambam brings down, it's one of the 24 things that's hard to do tshuva because you think, he gave it to me, I didn't do anything wrong. No, you're a gazelle. You put the guy in a position where he can't say no. Okay? Seems to be the question of mooches, where they used to be before, but in other things we have, let's say, they call him. It says it's a Rishami, okay? Rishami says that you don't bring Bikurim Neva Yavne. So the Gemara has a shayla over there. You don't bring Bikurim because it says that God gave to you, and women with God took by themselves. Women took by themselves. What do you mean they took by themselves? They didn't take by themselves, right? They asked so, right? And that's if you take a look back at the Parshas of Matis, where they actually brought it up. You find the Parshas chopped up with a bunch of samachs. And the reason for it is, the meaning was supposed to be saying one thing. And the first samach ends, period. That's where you should have stopped. I understand, I'm not dumb. I understand you have sheep. The land is good for sheep, so what must be you are asking me to give you the land? Right? That's after the samach. We'll find favor you give it to us, and now you put me in a position that I can't say no. So that's called taking it yourself. And this is a few times in the day like that. You should know whenever you put someone, even the word please is putting someone in a position that you can't say no. No such thing. You're not allowed to do it. You maybe consent, I'd like to have one. Fine. He says fine. Wonderful. Doesn't. But that's all you can do. Not can have one. Yes, it's important to know that. It's a gene which is going to the Rambam, the actual months you forget of. And then it's hard to do tshuva. Okay, so it says if everybody calls 5:16, then I look bad. I can't look bad. It's not nice. I'm told to keep quiet. And again, he basically comes a posik that he says 3 times before me there. God was angry at me because of you, and he listened to me. We have it by Meraglim, right in the beginning as well. the first thing there. So the examiner is in the welcome. The examiner is in the welcome. Then the master is so shama. Okay, and you have it again in the next, in later in the Neschan. Posik. Hashem is kind of a be out of the Rechem, and Shova a little bit different from Shova. But what's the timing? Like Moshe Rabbeinu is not going to keep rubbing it in. In other words, he had a time to call Yisrael, he said it. And that would be the chet, you should understand it because of Marag. And I let the Marag go, but I don't like this. Understand? What it is, not the gay for here, but that's the part that, okay. And it's again because why was I hiding this? Why did I act the way I did? Because when you were asking me. So therefore I thought it not that they make them straight famous, they don't make straight famous. Okay, that was one thing. They wouldn't do that over and over again. So Parshas would be that this time he's talking about the Maaseh of Palpur. With Palpur was Shevet Shimon was fighted. I mean, more people died in Shevet Shimon than any other Shevet. They reduced 22,200. So therefore, it's a number that's felt as in the Cheshbon Klal Yisrael. The partition of Eretz Yisrael was made according to these numbers. And the Rebbeinu Shlom's chesed to Klal Yisrael always is that after a tragedy happens to Klal Yisrael, all of a sudden we have the birth rates, we have what he calls the Slavic. After the Second World War, we have the Slavic. Where all of a sudden, before man, look at this room. And so in my time, there was no room like this, believe me. Okay. So I feel that it can happen. All of us, since Shimon will not be getting the right chair, but they can get a very small chair, right? And the bench is going to bring them back to people that should be in the next, right? Where you going to put them? So there's got to be another chalukah. It's nothing. So then the question is, what should I do? That I need me. So they didn't get me, that man you. And I suffered because of it. They went in a different show. But Parshas, the word, the third one, says out the Rechem, seems to be talking about the Marag one, because that was words. The Maaseh, because Zimri was a Maaseh. I'm talking about the Snusses. It's a revolution over it. And the Chinese to that, they died out. So it could be the Rebbeinu is telling him, he's giving him that's a Musa list about they dissolve, and you're going to come to the soil and have all these things, and you heard the Yisrael, and I'm not going to be there. Like this, you always can figure out. And Moshe Rabbeinu, he'll handle God. He knows how to take care of it. So in case anything's going to happen to us, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to get rid of it. I'm not going to be there. You're on your own, guys. And that means you have to act a different way. Remember these things. That's the point. Not broken him. It's just telling him you have to be that's another mensch. Then he says, right? You should learn them and do them. That's what makes you smart. They'll hear all these chukim. And say how smart this nation is. Not making sense to you. What do we know about chukim? You have no reason, right? So they're going to hear things that have no meaning, no reason, no understanding, and they say that makes you smart. On the other hand, Mishpatim, that we understand, right? Mishpatim is bullshit. Is it? Let's take a look at what, well, first of all, we say every day, to get Zimmer, Mishpatim Bavadol. They don't even understand what Mishpatim are. For instance, what about Stephen? Is that a bullshit is that? I would think everyone would tell me, yeah, right, that's a Mishpat. It's not right for you to take my stuff. Yeah. How come they do it now? That's what they do. Can't be arrested to steal in New York City. Except probably means that not. The rest of the boroughs you can't. Why? I'm just redistributing the assets. Before you have, and I didn't have. Now I have, and you don't have. It's a redistribution of assets. That's all. What makes it a chet? So when you go with Egan and Seichel, you make up, you can make back anything you want in the world. So what it means is this. The pshat is that this is the Rosh Hashanah's tell us. Here's the kashi, this simple kashi. And how come you think that you don't, that Mishpatim, they're not Chacham because, but Mishpatim, but that's Chukim we are. He said if a doctor would tell you, I'll give you the Moshe, he gives a case also with doctors. He says, I'll give it to you. In a more modern setting. You buy a box of bottle of Advil, and it says, take two in case of headache, and I've been doing this for a while, and it helps me go. The headache is so good. I finally said, I gotta go to the doctor and see what he says. This is terrible. The doctor says, too much, take 3. And he takes 3, and it works. He gave the doctors a genius. No. I should have thought about it myself. If 2 don't work, take 3. Right? So therefore, that's Mishpat. What height would be, the doctor would tell him, you know what I want you to do? I want you to stand on your head and say Krishna while you're standing on your head. Okay? And it works. What does the guy do? What a genius! What a genius! He knows exactly how the body works. How will he respond to Krishna? Wow! He's an idiot. That's a shot. So in other words, what makes you smart when they can't figure out the way that it works must be your genius. Right? And since it works, we had a case like that in Sherry years ago when they were building the cradle houses. And the Mexicans are usually the guys who put up the gardening stuff. Now they generally, they're Catholics and they're Fumagoi. Not like others that, you get a family Fumagoi. Came over to one of the wife and says, I don't understand. What is it that you do? He says, I have 4 children and they're at each other's throat all the time. Says, and here, I've been here for 2 weeks, and there's at least 100 kids running around. I never saw one fight. What do you do? Okay, you have an answer? That's what we do. Okay. That's why it works. You see more chachamim. I'm loving the chacham. In I don't know if you guys are aware of it, in Korea, one of the things they learn in school is the Talmud. Why? Because why are Jews so smart? Because they study the Talmud, so we're going to study Talmud too. I don't know how you do it. I haven't looked into it. It doesn't make a difference to me. On my side, I don't think we found any smarter guys because they learned the Talmud. For something to understand, Ruffling how to do this. And it says here also, an Indian and stuff like that. So pretty scary, right? Mountains right over your head, it's full of fire, right? You drop it on me any minute. I better accept the paper, right? Okay, that's a partial shot. And she just said, think about this is important. That if a person was there, and he saw Matas Mitzrayim, he saw Kriyas, he saw Matan Tev, right? Is there any doubt in his mind that there's a God in the world? No God, no doubt. And that the Torah was given by God, no doubt, right? So how do you not accept it? We believe in God or not. But to someone who saw what did he said no shayla. His gallows itself is kofel hakigidis. What's hakigidis? I was forced. I'm forced by my logic to believe in a Kodesh Baruch. So therefore, maybe I should have an ability to go the other way. I have to give it. There's no what he called. No schal, there's no ancient, there's no what he called. There's no bechira. Why? Because it's so blind. There's no question in your mind. It can't be. That's the problem. So therefore, there's a question to understand. They forced in time, opposed to giving a chance by solution or hitting the rock, or what he called in the midbook, was in other words that once you got hit, all of a sudden you can accept it even if you go alone. So makavachem from the stone, whatever it is, you got hit next time you travel just for people, we didn't learn that lesson. Like Meshavim hit the rock. So you didn't learn the lesson. We never learned it's a thing forward. But out. The Esther upon it. But we can't see and we still live. Everybody understands. Interestingly, we just learned yesterday, Kishabot, we say we're burning, really, what should they be reading on Tisha B'Av? I'm going to destroy you and kill you and wipe you out. Right? That's what we should be learning about. That's what happened to us. Wasn't a nice little thing. They won the war, so they treated us so nicely. Okay, go back now. Go back to your country. We don't care. They told us Avodim. They killed us without reason. Or something like that. So that's what we should be mourning. So why are we reading Shisei B'Av, which is about the second chance we got? The number is 852. He took us out. He made the Churban at the year 850, 2 years short. And because of that, he was Zeichet by Sheni. Now, by Sheni was Golos. Until the Chashmonaim, by Sheni was Golos. All the years of the Greeks, there was 4 goals in that one Greek. It's all in the Bayis Sheni, where the Bayis was standing. And Rome started when the Bayis was standing. Right? So what do you mean? Give us another shot. You're right, everyone goes. But to understand the Kedusha, based on English, we're talking about Eretz Yisrael. as a country that's under somebody else. And all the Kedusha and all the nisim that we saw in the Beis HaMikdash all took place there. Why are you happy? What's one important? A relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this place. You have a little children, you have a little skabel, and everything else. It was a very good life. And you say, this goal stuck. We'll be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Beis HaMikdash. It's not the ideal situation. We didn't have the big piece of land that we had originally, except for maybe on the Yana. But normally we did, when we were in the Hashmonaim one, they just were a small piece of land originally. The land of the Yehuda Beniman, which is Judea, whatever that's what it's called today. Judah wasn't called Israel. Only a small piece of land. But later on, they added pieces. So the Hashmonaim wasn't always the work. And after that came Yehudas and Esrim. We counted the Gabi, that's the Malchus. Those are Malchus, you saw it, but I'm not going to count the whole system to the whole. Although I said it was not us anymore. It was Ahodim that were ruling us. But it was still up the Torah, so the general rules of the Torah. So it was pretty good. Shabbos, I think that the tragedy is we got a chance. And we took it and we blew it again. In other words, we had a chance to keep it going. Didn't say that then it was 20 years. But it kept going until the Shiur. But you guys killed it. It's in the skin. That's a tragedy. You had a chance and you didn't do it. And I'm not blaming Abulamaisa. That makes it a tragedy. If I didn't have a chance, what am I supposed to do? But if I had a chance and I blew it, it's a bigger chance. It could be something from Parshas, which is also could be a reason that we read. Parshas, it talks about that the Rebbeinu Yisrael gave out Yisrael. This is how we know this Amishan HaTeva. And he משפט, ושמשפט ואביסייכם, לא סייסלוהם, להם כסיב, לכם לא כסיב, לעזרם אחריהם. Therefore, the others never got the others, never got Eretz Yisrael, because he gave it to save 190 years. He started the Shibud, or not the Shibud, there's 3 parts. The Eretz Yisrael, Va'avodu, Ve'idin, V'inoisa. 3 different steps. So we doesn't have to start that one try. If it would be the obvious land, so the faithful Ya'akov goes down to the Israel, it would be Eretz Yisrael. But if he doesn't take the land that long, so then it starts when Yisrael is born. And also there was in Canaan, but that also wasn't my land. And therefore, 190 years went on. So, and that's what it says again. First, the mention says, I took out a took out a custom to give you the land. And secondly, it said, who goes Hashem but this land was not Africa. But the mention still promised it to you to love Yisrael. And the Benson promises something, it's going to be Mekuyim, no matter what. So therefore, the Benson said, so it could be that in Golem we go through to the fact that they were entitled to land, but after they were there, just the Avim and the Taftalim, they were there, and then they lost it. But then all of a sudden, so you lost it, so what are you complaining about? Right? You had the land already. Right? Be the shiny teacher, the shy, the teacher lost it, right? Right? It doesn't happen for forever. Right? Once it was only for a period of time they were there. But the Shriya, this teacher, the shy, the teacher lost it. He didn't leave. Maybe did we leave him by a solution? Left it when they killed the Dahlia. So then what happened was they all ran away from Eretz Yisrael. People, so they evacuated Eretz Yisrael, so they took over that. That's why we face so much in Yisrael. Like this over there. No, we don't find one person crying so much, but what's the about food we find, anything else, what is this got to do with anything? Yeah, we skilled. We lost Eretz Yisrael. So it could be the mention tells us over there that even these Shayna go disappear, I'm giving it back to you, lost it love. You'll have it, please, Mason. You'll have Eretz Yisrael again. But nicely, you don't have to wait for it. We have it now. It's the Shniya, it's not the words in the most teachers. Then he tells you guys will Makis, most Kashi, Oz Yabro Moshe Shom made by Yabro Mizrach Shemesh. What's Mizrach Shemesh? Priest. That's not what it means. Mizrach Shemesh means it's Rachto Shemesh our what's. Whether it's not Shemayim or there was Moshe Rabbeinu himself did it. He went and displayed the first thing he has to do is to try and say what's. That make any sense to you? No other mitzvahs he could have done but to start from the mitzvah. It's not even how until all the other three cities are linked together. So it's not even how. So what was the point of this doing? I think it's something that we have to understand because this is very negated to Bachar. We do a lot of doing Zach. And of course, we don't know anything can happen from it. We don't expect anything to happen. And then things happen. We're shut. I didn't mean it. Right? I heard that said a lot of times. Yeah, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. It's still chayiv. What do you mean chayiv? It's an accident. It doesn't say that. It's supposed to go to Harav Reuven Feinstein. Not Harav Reuven Feinstein. Harav Reuven Feinstein. What's your Sרגא? Sרגא, I forgot it's also. I forgot that it's Shabbos today. About it's a Sרגא. What's a Sרגã? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, we in America. That's what we have our own interpretation of what's murder one. If I'll ask you what's murder, you'll tell me the guy goes premeditated murder. He takes a gun, walks into a store, and shoots the guy. That's murder. Right? That's not murder. Murder is that you are not careful when you are able to do something that could kill somebody. That's murder. And you chayiv misah. And a goy is tak a chayiv misah. A goy did the same thing a yid does, that he goes to the mikvah. A goy will be killed. So obviously it's called murder. So why you put that? Because you have to be knowing halacha. You're not children to us this book. We are careless. Being points where you want to be careful, you're careless even doing good things. For instance, one take the air, the guy's supposed to take the air conditioner out of the window, right? It's getting cool a little bit. He didn't get around to it yet. We'll do the guy a favor. Right? We'll take it out. No big. What's he do? He makes it up. We'll do the same thing. You got two guys to do it. And all of a sudden, the things are a little too heavy for a guy, and they drop it. Just happens to be lucky, nobody was underneath the air conditioner when it fell, right? If there would have been somebody, he'd kill you, right? You don't know what you're doing. Don't do it. Don't be helpful. Guy's playing golf, and he screams 4. And I guess it's 5, whatever it is. And he hits the guy in the head with the ball and kills him. I said 4, I'm putter. No, you don't. That doesn't even know what you're talking about. He didn't even hear you. You're careless. You should have looked. Did you look? No. I don't remember steps. And I hit a guy. And he all of a sudden falls down the rest of the step. Both of them will catch himself. Not high Mesa. She didn't kill anybody. That's the point that he wants to carry. Is how the word is how the Shem and Shalot. Everybody's a Ritzach. They don't know better. We don't teach them better. They would say Ritzach. We have to teach them so they won't be Ritzach. That means be careful what you do. They always have to say, there's no such thing as an accident. I didn't mean it. That doesn't help me anything. Then tell us about the Asar subjects. It's very interesting. If I ask you, why do we keep Shabbos? Probably most of you probably say it was clear soil. Right? They state the Torah. Yeah. So it's the Torah, it says in Parshas Yisro, where is the first Asar subject, this how we should set them on here. And where it says, Sheish Yom, Sheish Yom Os Hashem Shleim B'Sol Tzivon Kol Shalom and Yochel Yom HaShvi. How can Beirach Hashem is on Shabbos Veikat Sheilu? What did God do because He created Shemayim V'Aretz? He blessed it, made it holy. Right? What's the reason we keep Shabbos? That Yechayim Nisa for. וזוכרת כי יבלו יסו בארץ מצרים היציאה השם לקח משם להיות חזוק ובשרויה מתויו. על כן ציווך השם לקח לעשות השם השבוס. That's why God created and commanded you to keep Shabbos. Which commandment is in the second of Dibros? The Dibros is Zocher V'Shomer Dibur Echad, tonight, right? And the Zocher V'Shomer. He starts with his name is Shlomo, so he starts Shlomo Zocher. But it's Zocher V'Shomer Dibur Echad, right? It's one thing. One came out at one time. One is Kedusha Shabbos. That's Al Kachir Ayayin. God knowing it's a whole system we do for that. And then there's an Indian of Shmira Shabbos. That's supposed to be what Aaron was. What's the difference between Shmira Shabbos? That's why Chayim Nisa in Shmira Shabbos. What's the difference between Shomer and Zocher? As far as showing it on Eved Hashem. Don't forget, a guy to go eat Shabbos, on Shabbos, it's Chayim Nisa. Why? He's stealing our title. Our title, we're Avdei Hashem. He's not an Eved Hashem. He'd like to volunteer to be an Eved Hashem. An Eved is not a volunteer. Right? That's automatically, by definition, that's the type of Eved is not a volunteer. So you can't volunteer to keep Shabbos. he's Oichet, you can keep Shabbos. But as the Malacha, Shabbos. Why? Because what shows ownership? What shows violence? That you might have on it. So yeah, let's take the normal guy come home from work, from school, right? He had homework. He wants to go out and play. So what does the mother say? Do your homework and then go out and play. Right? Do your chiyuvim, and then when you finish with your chiyuvim, you're free. That's not an eved. An eved is do your chiyuvim, what I commanded you now, and when you finish, I'll give you some more. That's an eved. So where is it more naked an eved? Not in what you do, because like we said, if you personal obligations. It's when I tell you not to do, and you want to do, and you can't do. That's an eved. Right? You can't do because I'm not letting you do. And that's why this is the tool. You became an eved. Why did you become an eved? I took you out of Mitzrayim. I took you from that Abbas and I made you my Abbas. My Abbas didn't have to follow my ways now. That's it. Now it's a very funny thing here. It says, in order that your shifting Eved should rest with you. So the reason that I can't work my avodim seems to be a very funny reason, because I want them to rest also. Right? What's an Eved? It's like Mrs. Kisha, right? You're Messiah mitzvahs of Shabbos, right? So what he is asking me that you're not put to Shabbos, so what is it's like this. When the guy tells you to do an Avodah, right? And Shlich there, what's the reason? Right? The Eved and the what he called tell you something, will you listen to him? Right? Boss of the Eved. Boss is the boss. Right? So it's the Emerson, that's why for you, if I told you to go to Machal Shabbos, you listen to me Machal Shabbos, you're 5 minutes, not the guy who sent you shouldn't listen to him. But an Eved and a Shifra, they have to listen to the who owns them. So maybe they'll be put there. And then the Yisatak is only because you are having them, you sent them. You weren't supposed to. Because that excuse of the Tziva Rav, Tziva Town, the different Shaman, that doesn't apply here, because you happen to be the Eved of that person. So therefore, you may have a head to do the halacha and claim like I had no choice. But when I said the other is on the back, yes, not allowed to do it. Something that again, if we just push it, this is din, and I just want you to realize it, because probably you don't even realize you're going to. You say like sachmit, right? Not allowed to be jealous of somebody. Not doesn't mean say we're jealous. It's not like I want what he has. Right? It's missing. Not even allowed until you do a mice. What's called a mice? Grab it out of your hand. Okay, that's a mice. And I'll pay you for it. I'm not interested in stealing it. I just want it. If I go over to a guy and say, no, I like your house, what do you want for it? And say, I'm looking for a house like 300,000. That's 2 million. Normally, guy should say, forget it, right? You gotta say, it's not the same. I'm not selling because he thinks you're only going to offer him 300,000. So it's not going to get it. I'm not selling 300,000. What happens if I give you $1 million? I start thinking, $1 million, not bad. You go to another house. It is, right? But not to be too many. When you make it impossible for me to refuse, because why do you want my house for? You don't want a house, you want my house. Why do you want my house? Because you want my house, you like my house, and you're going to make it impossible for me to say no, and you're able to say. So forget about a house. What about guys? He bought a new glove, he bought a new jacket, he bought a new shirt, something that I like, a new face, whatever it is, I want it. I'll offer you double, I'll offer you triple. I can ask him if he wants to sell it, that I can ask him, that's fair. I'm allowed to hire him out if he wants to sell it, I wouldn't offer him. But I said, once he tells me it's not for sale, it's not for sale. That's what it means, it's not for sale. The key was should be better. Moshe Rabbeinu came back after the first two luchos, to Libras, and the Klal said, "You can't take this. We have us in the next state. We're not going to be alive. The years of leukemia is going to come into us. It's going to be too big. Why don't you go and tell us all what the Rebbeinu wants?" And Moshe Rabbeinu was pushing, no, you got to hear Mount Shem Aksem because he wants them to have the hero about it. I want you to have the hero. So the Rebbeinu says, they're right. Listen to what they say. Why is that? There's some comments that you want to push, you want not to push. It's very nice. It's a big tale out there. I want you to listen to the whole tale. Yes. Yeah, it's a big tale out there. You got to study all the time. Let's understand how to understand Ben Asdom. Understand Ben Asdom. It's not official say the time, right? It's Ben Asdom. I'm free to do what I want. I happen to be a good boy, and therefore I'm sitting and learning. Maybe I should care. Okay. Or if you look in Shad, you're always supposed to be learning. And so what's Ben Asdom mean? You have to do your laundry. You can only do it in Asdom. You can't do it in I'm going to say it. That's attached Ben Asdom. But normally you're supposed to be sitting and learning it. Right? So what's the real touch of Ben Asdom? Right? Is the guy ready for that? That's the true Asdom. We always need to learn. The meaning shot one and when you pick the other stick. Guys walking by walking alone in the forest, and he's learning Torah, and he says, "Manoi yonasu is chayiv in action." What did he do? And somebody said, he wasn't saying, oh, this is a beautiful tree. Well, he said, boy, look how beautiful God's work is. Look at that tree. Look how beautiful it is, right? Is there enough opportunities? You're learning God's Torah, and you don't see how great God is. In the middle of His Torah, you don't see it. When I'm learning Torah, I have to understand what I'm learning. What am I learning? God's Torah. And you see the wonder of what God's Torah is all about. That's what it says. Okay, so then if you only see it from a tree, anyway, so the Bishop told him that not everybody is at the Madreike, that you can hit them too hard, they get frustrated. They can't do it, and they make up their mind before they can't do it. Not that they really can't do it. We all know you really can do everything, that everything is demanded of us. It's not hard. Oh, Bill, if you put it like that, you got the it. Leave it alone. Yeah, too much. I know. That's make myself not be able to take it. But not that I can't take it. Shema Yisrael. We say all the time. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. What is that? God's the only God. Okay. Let me how I would imagine God. Since I'm used to people. So God's a skinny guy. The atmosphere in a room has a lot of buttons. And with those buttons, he controls the whole world. Right? That's God. That's what you think about Shem Echad. You think of Shem Elokeinu, Shem Echad teaches me also that God is eternal, not only eternal, he's infinite in time and space. If he's not infinite, there's room for somebody else. And if there's room for somebody else, he's not the only God. He may be the only one that you know about, but there's no. When we say God Hashem Echad, there is no room for anybody else. Not just there is no anybody else. There's no room for anybody else. You have the Rabbeinu Bechai gives his upshot of Christianity. What's the belief of Christianity is that there are three that are one. They believe in a triumvirate, God and the Son and the Holy Ghost. That's one to say that. And therefore, but that's really one. Okay, Shitu, whatever Mishonis we can learn that. But what does it mean in English? I have no idea, right? Nice words though. So it says if you can touch them up as three, then there has to be a heaven building that I can say one ends over here and two starts here. Otherwise, I'd be on the three. And once I do that, you're not in three. So once there's three, you can't, all three together can't be infinite. That's the upshot of the thing. God is infinite. That's it. Iking the soul in the moon. God is infinite. Some of those shoes. Huh? Wait for Yachad Shemantecha, also Shalish Barak Seforim, Aliseichel, Aboti Meleim Kultuva Shavani Leisa, Beres Chatzu B'Chol Shavei Chotzavto, from the Zeifim Shavani Toto. Right? The patient is giving it tremendous good. Ki Shomar L'chad and Tishkach Es Hashem Asher Teitzis. The Meshech Chochmah says over here, the rest of the Meshech Chochmah is found. As Yosef says over here, that the reason they needed themselves and Shomuchot and Tishkach, because what was looked at them, and bottom and leading go to us when you raise them. Chazan. And with everything that was in the houses of the Canaan that they captured, you can eat. They was marketed for those 7 years or 14 years maybe. That anything that's in the house is mutter. Get chazer, fine, enjoy it. In my way, you need tshuva. Okay. No, Shiva Zatzal was matter, was matter something, it's mutter. You don't do me any favors by telling me I can eat yisra and then give me 90 because I ate it. It's not 90, it's a mitzvah, but whatever you want to call it. It's not my benefit. It's not my benefit. You cannot do me a favor. Okay. See else? They recommend Sumas negate. They recommend Sumas that the favor COVID and the Lord and the Recho. Difference by Lord and the Recho from my definition of Recho. The din of an Recho, there's a guy Hashem Shabbos, so Kashvus, and whatever it is, there's the Treifus. He tells him something kosher, I'm allowed to believe him. You say the comment. What am I? You say, nah, I don't trust anybody. They're all fakes and all this thing. But that Jew over there, that's who I buy. He's the only honest Jew. And then they catch that Jew. He's the cook. Right? He fools you all these things. Now you're amazed. Not only do you get action, they won't get Malchus, but amazing means you made tshuva like amazing. Like you ate treif because you wanted to eat treif, not because I trusted in God. You didn't trust in God. I told you can trust anyone. Oh no, I can't trust anybody. Right? So you don't believe in God. So all of us trust in your definition of aid. Your definition obviously is wrong. So therefore you're wrong. Therefore you're amazing. So but that's a lot of people think that's funka. That's not funka. In this sense, he says, but in Emerson, if that's all there is to Timtum Halev, really, then the solution of Timtum Halev is very simple. What do you say? That's it. Just stop being a good boy. And besides, the next week, we have the same Parshas, same idea anyway. It says, why? Because you think you captured the land. You got it. You're about giving it. So no, I gave it to you. And therefore, if I gave it to you, I told you you need it. So therefore, don't be about that. The same thing, I get that you made things easy for me. You made me think them big from being poor. All of a sudden, I think he creates humility. That's where the mistake comes in. That's what it's about. But the rest of it is the medicine, all that. The one more thing, okay, it's not so so you see some this is more an Indian for business like that. A lot of people, I need a job. And I got an interview. I'm going to the interview and I'm saying, I need this job. You got to make me get it. You're able, they're testing God. What you're supposed to say, I need a job. I trust you to give me. By the way, I'm going for an interview now, and I don't want to look like a fool. So maybe do good on it. About the job, that's not the game. You get the job from someplace else. I don't care where you get the job from. Right? But if I want this job, this thing, now it could be sure I don't know how to do anything else. So that's why I want to do the job because I want to be a doctor. Right? Nothing to do with anything. Be a doctor, I gotta go to medical school. Because if I don't go to medical school, they'll put me in jail for practicing medicine without a license. But if I gotta go to okay. So if you want to do that, okay. You're not the guy who's learning. Okay, go. What you want? Understand? If I believe God can't give me my house unless I go to college, that's clear. Excited to see that kind of people themselves who do go, watching do pretty good. So therefore, it's obviously you see that in the life. But that's the point, that I can't make limits to what the creation can do. Now, so what by the water? What did they do? They asked for water. They had no water, they asked for water. Is there anything wrong with that? Yeah. Because what you could have said, mentioned, I don't want to be thirsty. You know, how are you not thirsty? You're hungry. So you never get thirsty. Baruch Hashem. You would not need water, just like what's the difference between food and that? Food until it says they yes shloim. The Gemara says that food they yes shloim, meat they yes shloim. No, it's entitled to bread. They need bread. Right? So what's happening? In the Tehillim, it says that the bread they ate wasn't like this. It's like this. Normally you can't. You eat breakfast about 9 o'clock. Whatever time you eat around that time. Right? You eat lunch about 1 o'clock. Right? So between 9 and 1, you really don't get hungry. Sometimes you're a little hungry, and other times we'll wait another 15 minutes for lunch. Right? We're not dying. Right? What would happen if I get the breakfast? Today's no lunch. What time do you think you'll get up? At 1 o'clock or 11? That's the time. You should have been able to last to 1 o'clock. So why are you hungry at 11 o'clock? Because you don't believe you're going to get the food. So you're hungry at 11 o'clock and you don't trust me. Right? I know there's a cook, this and that. I trust you. I have no problems. I don't get hungry at 1 o'clock. That's the problem. On the other hand, when you're walking, right? When do you sit down? When you're tired. If I don't get tired, I don't sit down. When do you happen to wash your shirt? When it's 30, right? If at the end of the day I took it off, right? And I thought it was wrinkled and everything else. The next morning, the Anani Ya'akov did a good job pressing and washing and everything else. And I took a look at it. It's beautifully fresh. And they even got a new style here. You know, they put me on a onesie when I was born. And then 40 years later, I'm still wearing the new style of clothing there was. Because every day it changes in Mashiach. You want to match it. And therefore, you never complain. You never saw it. You never understood it. But here, I'm hungry. That's your problem. Okay. Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos, Rabbi, good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, Rosh
Good
Hashanah.
Shabbos. Mazel tov on the new Sefer.
Shabbos.
Mazel tov on the new
Mazel tov on the
Sefer.
Sefer. Devorum's coming. Devorum.
Recording stopped.
Shabbos. Mazel tov on the new Sefer.